Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
And the vengeance itself, it's not as fulfilling as I remember.
Really? Because I got the impression that you enjoyed, inflicting.
Well, causing pain sounds really cool, I know, but turns out it's really upsetting. Didn't used to be, but now it is.
Is it like you're scared of losing that feeling again and having it be okay to hurt people, and then you're not in charge of the power anymore because it's in charge of you?
Wow, that was really overdramatically stated, but yeah, that's it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
The suspense was killing me.
I know.
Today we are talking about Season 7, Episode 3, titled Same Time, Same Place, directed by James A. Contner, written by Jane Espenson. Original air date October 8th, 2002, to an audience of 4.9 million people. And before we get into the episode, everybody, we've got a shout out from Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe's got a little bit of extra phlegm in the back of his throat for this one for some reason. Don't know what the fuck's going on. But we want to give a shout out to the traveling Uke Smith, Adam. Adam, thank you so much for your 5-star Spotify review. We really appreciate it and enjoy your ukulele playing. If you want to get a shout out, Apple Podcast 5-star rating and review, Spotify 5-star rating, and send a screenshot of it to us, and you will be immortalized on this podcast. So there's that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of announcements up here. Just join the Discord. Join Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy. We're doing Boys Watching Angel, Boys Watching Movies. The newest one, if you haven't seen in the Discord. If you're not part of the Discord community, you miss out on little sneak previews. But we'll announce it here. The next movie that we will be releasing will be Clueless.
Yes, it will.
The 1995 classic teen coming-of-age comedy slice of life film.
It is a slice of life film, but I don't think anyone's ever called it that.
Yeah, no one. I don't think anyone would ever describe it as that, but I will.
Yes.
And I will stand by it.
Yes, if you like the boys going on tangents and down rabbit holes,
yeah.
That is the podcast for you. And it'll be out this Thursday if you're listening to this in real time. So 2 days after this is released, you should have Clueless.
Yes, indeedy. So, same time, same place. Our predictions were, well, mine was wrong. I don't really quite remember what you predicted.
What did you predict?
I predicted a TV demon.
Okay. Yeah.
I remember, and you were like, oh, Poltergeist? I was like, yeah, sure, what the fuck? We haven't had a TV demon.
Yeah, but they don't do a lot of TV watching.
Yeah.
Like,
they
actually on-screen TV watching. Like, they talk about TV, but they don't really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said that Anya's vengeance fiasco would be a bigger deal. This wasn't
kind of alluded to.
It's alluded to, but I thought it was going to be a big falling out. They just took her keys away, basically.
Yeah. How'd you feel about this episode, Vance?
I liked it. It's peachy keen.
Oh, we're simpatico today because I am also peachy keen in the monster era, baby. Yeah, man. Peachy Keen's fucking dope.
Yeah, so I with this episode, it started out and I wasn't really digging it that much. And then it grew on me. I did like the time vortex aspect of it. And I thought there's some interesting stuff with it. It led to a scene that I really liked.
Yes. I am thinking that hopefully it's the same scene that I really enjoyed because you get some different perspectives about what's going on, and it was a little trippy, but I thought it was good. You know, people trash in season 7. So far, I'm not finding it too horrible.
I mean, what was the first episode?
First episode was Lessons. Where
I believe
we go to school.
I believe in the first episode you said, I don't think there's ever been a good first episode of Buffy. So we're only 3 in.
Yeah, but
Still
2 and 3 have been decent.
2 was okay.
Yeah. It's not bad.
No, it does feel like it's run its course a little bit. And they're rehashing some stuff, but yeah. It's a lot more references because the show's been on for so long. So they reference themselves a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, they fucking love their own lore.
And I love that they reference themselves and that they have that. But normally they spread it out. But this one you get like 3 or 4 moments each episode.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the episode. Not as much recapping at the top. We get Willow flaying Warren, her being in England, then Giles kicking her out, basically.
He legitimately just booted her. He just gave her the boot.
I mean, after we learn about what actually, I was like, oh, he really just like kicked her to the curb, dude.
Giles.
We learn about Anya turning that guy into a slug-off demon, and we see Nancy again, and that led me to believe that, like, oh, maybe Nancy's becoming like a recurring character or something, but no sign of Nancy here.
Oh yeah, I thought she would be a character too.
Yeah, I mean, just based on this recap, that's the only reason why I thought that she'd be around.
I thought after last episode, how many scenes she had, that maybe she'd be like a love interest kind of thing for Xander. I'm still holding out some hope that happens, but
yeah, she might show back up in an episode or 2. Mm-hmm. We get Spike having his soul back and all of the implications of that, and him feeling the guilt. And Discord talked about it. I feel like I brought it up last episode too, about how like we're seeing Spike immediately after getting his soul back and how it makes him go crazy. And we compared that to Angel and how Angel doesn't seem that crazy, but I could have swore that I talked about it on the podcast about how, like, well, we've seen Angel like hundreds of years removed from getting the podcast, getting his soul. Angel's got a podcast.
Once he's done all of his acting, he'll do a podcast on.
Yeah, absolutely.
What Bones, and then what was the other
Bones and SEAL Team or whatever.
Team, yeah, the SEAL Team podcast with David Boreanaz.
Yeah.
It's like when babies are born and they first get their soul and they're crying and pooping on themselves and vomiting. Just normal getting your soul stuff.
Oh my God. If Spike shit himself. I mean, he probably is, to be honest with you.
Do vampires even poop?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
They have to sleep.
Right.
They have to sleep.
They do have to sleep because he might wake up on fire. If he touches my sister.
Why do they have to sleep? Anyway.
The episode actually opens up with a scene at the airport, and Xander, Buffy, and Dawn are there waiting for Willow. And Xander has a big sign that he drew Willow in yellow crayon. And they're like, why did you make this sign? It's really hard to read. Why'd you do it with yellow crayon? And Xander's like, did it with yellow crayon because it's like that story I told at the bluff where, I saved the world. And Buffy and Dawn are kind of like, oh yeah, why don't you tell us about that again? And Xander's like, okay, so I was on the bluff, right? And I was like saving the world with Willow. And then Buffy and Dawn kind of like roll their eyes and are like kind of sick of hearing him talk about how he saved the world. And he's like, hey, this is new shit for me. Like, I get that you save the world all the time, but I did it once, talking with my mouth. I didn't have to fight anybody. I just said I love you over and over.
Yeah, don't really remind us of that.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a little nice callback from the end of last season.
Yeah.
But then they're all kind of also worried about Willow coming back, especially Dawn. Dawn's like, I don't know, is it such a good idea coming back? And Buffy's like, Giles said that it's absolutely going to be fine that Willow's back. And Dawn's like, well, okay, it'll be fine as long as she like completed her like recovery course and she'll be fine, right? And Buffy's like, oh, well, here's the thing. She didn't complete her recovery course, and Giles just kind of told her she's fine. She's fine. It's important for her to come back. And Dawn's like, I'm sorry. What?
Giles, what are you doing?
He wanted off the show so bad.
Here's the thing I don't get. You could just say that she finished it, but it's still going to be a struggle. Like, that's all you have to say. We don't know what this thing is. Just say, yeah, she's done, but it's going to be a lifelong journey. You know, we already have the alcoholic drug abuse, metaphor. Yeah. So why not just be like, yeah, it's a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
But you got your little certificate. So, like, why did they make Giles seem like so just not caring, just unleashing a monster on the world?
I mean, it is kind of in line with his behavior previously about like, we're not going to help you, Buffy. You need to go learn on your own. And
yeah, but then he shows up in the finale with like witch powers. So, and then you took her over there. Why would you? She's been over there all summer. What was it, another month?
Yeah, why would he take her over there and then be like, all right, I'm fucking sick of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important that you recover, but not the whole thing. I think you get the gist.
Yeah. It's like, man, that's so weird. It's just a weird thing to have.
Yeah. So, yeah, Buffy's like, well, it's important that Willow comes back. That's what Giles said. And Dawn is still kind of like, I don't know about that. But while they're having this conversation, Xander is slowly noticing that everyone has gotten off the plane and Willow is not there. And they don't see her. And it's like, uh-oh, where might Willow be? So then the scene restarts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same scene, except this time Willow comes off the plane. She's one of the first people off of the plane. And she's looking around and she's looking for the Scoobs. And the Scoobs aren't there. And so you're like, uh-oh, what kind of alternate reality shit is this?
Same time, same place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had a personal issue with this.
All right, let's hear it.
Willow looks so butthurt that the Scoobies aren't there to pick her up. And I was surprised that the Scoobies were picking her up from the airport.
Yeah.
I don't know if this fanfare that would happen of her coming back. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You tried to beat the shit out of Buffy. Xander, not so much.
I mean, they
beat the shit
each other.
and you threatened Dawn a lot.
Mm.
I get it. I mean, they kind of follow it up later, but it was just like her looking around like, oh, they're not here. It's like,
yeah.
You can take a taxi.
Yeah. I did predict at the end of the scene, I was like, Willow's going to get forgiven so fast.
Yeah. They do that at the beginning of every season.
Yeah.
Willow just has never gotten her. Yeah, we'll talk about it. It just feels like she never gets. Everyone is too afraid to be angry at Willow.
Yes, because she's so sweet and she's such a nice little girl. And how could you be mean to Willow?
And she plays
dude.
And she plays it as if, oh, why are you mad at me? It gets. I don't know. This episode was like peak that.
Yeah. I did predict that she would get forgiven faster than Spike, and that does not seem to be the case. It seems like, I don't know, they're going to Spike a lot.
I think she's forgiven. I don't think Spike's fully forgiven by the end of the episode.
Yeah. Okay. So then we have the intro song, there's a kid spray painting and some shadowy figure
that's after the intro. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a kid spray painting like behind a train or something. I don't know. It's some kind of dark alley.
Must be new to Sunnydale outside at night.
Yeah.
I was like, when I watched the scene, I was like, there must not be any graffiti and tagging that's not done by vampires and demons. Because you would just be dead.
Yeah, that is true. So he's tagging something, and some demon comes around. He clips his little long fingers together, and he just keeps saying, all alone around him. And the kid's like, who's there? Who is that? And then the demon just jumps out and attacks the kid. And that's all you see of it. Like, you just see the demon like lunging towards the camera, and you're like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Is this demon the cause of the alternate reality situation?
Mm-hmm.
So then we go to Willow, who shows up at Buffy's house, and she knocks on the door and no one's answering. So then she goes around back, and the back door is unlocked. And I was like, bro, have you learned nothing? I don't know, maybe this is just like a growing up in the city thing, but I lock everything. Like, I would never, I can't imagine going to like the airport to pick up my friend and leaving a door unlocked. That's bananas.
It's bananas knowing what she knows about Sunnydale.
Yeah. Like, yeah, sure, vampires can't get in without an invite, but like there's hundreds of thousands of other demons at this place that are trying to kill you, kill Dawn. You keep getting all these cryptic messages like, oh, from below it devours or whatever, and something's coming, and just at least do the bare minimum and lock the door. A guy shot you in the backyard. Just a regular guy.
Yeah.
So Willow goes in and she walks and no one's there. And we do see on the microwave, it says it's 10:41. And then I definitely wrote that down because I was like, oh, they're showing that. This is definitely going to play into it.
I love the microwave clock, you know?
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised it's not beeping 12, to be honest with you. Buffy does not seem like
that'd be amazing. It'd be hard for them to get their point across with the clock off, but that would be great.
It seems more in line with the type of house Buffy's running.
Buffy's legit now, man. She's got a job at the school, a vague job.
That's true. So Willow walks all through the house and no one's there, and she goes into Buffy's room, or her old room, and she looks out the window and she has memories of, Tara getting shot. And she goes to Buffy's room and she looks at her bed, and then on the bedside table there are pictures there, and Willow is in none of the pictures. I stopped and I rewound twice. And then so she goes and she looks at Buffy's planner or diary, and I was like, wow, big no. And then she hears a door slam, and she runs downstairs and she's like, oh, that must be Buffy or Dawn or somebody. And she's like, Buffy, Dawn? And no one's there. And so she sits on the couch and she lays down on the couch, just takes a nap. The clock still says it's 10:41. Now, when she heard a door slam and went downstairs and was like, I'm just going to take a nap, I was like,
she's a super powerful witch. She don't care about nothing.
I guess so. So then Buffy, Dawn, and Xander come home, but Willow, who was just sleeping on the couch in the previous scene, this is alternate reality type situation. Willow's not there. Well, technically.
Yeah, technically. Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. I wrote in my note overlapping time, but it definitely would be alternate reality splitting. Yeah.
So they're in the house and they're wondering where Willow is, and Dawn's worried that she might still be evil. It's like maybe she got off the plane and she doesn't want to, come and see us. Maybe she's out doing some kind of evil, doing crazy nonsense. And then they hear something fall upstairs, like an object drop, and they're like, uh-oh, what's upstairs? And they go up there to investigate, and no one is there. They don't see anybody. And they call Giles, and Giles hasn't heard from Willow, and there's no messages on their answering machine. And so Xander's like, maybe Willow isn't right.
They don't call Giles here, because Willow calls Giles later. They talk about avoiding. They make a joke about avoiding Giles, and then Xander's like, I've avoided Giles plenty of times. It's because I'm lazy, not evil. Yeah. And then they sit on the couch.
Yeah, they sit on the couch and they talk about how like maybe Willow thinks that we're not ready to forgive her yet. And Buffy is like, oh, this is all our fault. And Xander's like, oh, this is all our fault. And Dawn's the only one that's like, hey, maybe this is Willow's fault. Yeah. I'm tired of getting blamed and feeling bad about myself for Willow trying to end the world and us coddling her. Maybe this, some of this is definitely her fucking fault. And I was like, oh, Dawn.
Dawn says, is anyone going to blame Willow? And I wrote, great point, Dawn. Dawn is getting better.
Yeah, I was going to say, is Dawn season 7 like turning a corner here?
Yeah.
Because we liked her threatening Spike last episode. Her blaming Willow.
Mm-hmm.
Can't.
Let's see if it holds up for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're all sitting on the couch, and then we fade out of the Scoobs sitting on the couch.
I would say dissolve. That would be the
term. Yeah. That we dissolve the Scoobs and then resolve Willow, who is still sleeping on the couch. Right where the Scoobs are sitting. And she gets up, and she calls Giles, and she can't reach Giles because he's at a council meeting.
He's a watcher still.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah. I don't know what they're watching.
What? Yeah.
The Slayer seems to be
His job is to be with the Slayer.
He doesn't want to be with the powerful witch that almost destroyed the world, that they should be studying. They should be studying her powers and turning her into a weapon of good.
The Watchers are so inept.
They're so lazy. They
suck, dude.
They're so lazy. Just 2 people. There should be like 3 Watchers stationed in Sunnydale.
Yes. Yeah. In case one of them dies.
Just to document. They have all these books of like, this is what the Slayer had done. None of this is getting written down. But somehow they're going to pass on Buffy's legacy to the next Slayer. And be like, she did all this. I'm like, when did you see Double Meat Palace? Because you weren't there.
Yeah. Dude, I will never understand what the Watch, like, I will never understand it.
Yeah.
But anyway. So then Willow gets up and she's walking over to the magic box, which we had questions about a while ago. It's still there, just fucked up, dude. It is not open because it got destroyed.
So where are people getting their magic supplies from? Because it was bustling.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a dearth in the magic community right now in Sunnydale. But Anya comes out with a couple of boxes and she's immediately suspicious of Willow. She's like, what the fuck? What are you doing back here? And Willow's like, hey, I'm just trying to find where the Scoobies are. And Anya's like, are you here to actually do that? Or are you here to kill more people? And I wrote in my notes, doesn't Anya do that? Like, she's a vengeance demon. She's like throwing shade at Willow for killing somebody. And then she's a vengeance demon.
I wrote that she was rightfully pissed because Willow tried to kill her. And she's a vengeance demon. So, you're going to hold a grudge. So I'm all right.
Well, yeah, she definitely holds a grudge
Yeah.
for ruining the magic box. She throws some shade at her for that, too.
Yeah.
She's just like, you've ruined my entire only way I can get money, and like, because you fucking destroyed it. And Willow's like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I've been looking for the Scoobs. You seen them? And then they sit down, and she's like, where is everybody? And Anya's like, well, I was just in Brazil doing some vengeance. Scoobs have been really temperamental lately because, I'm a vengeance demon again. We got into a little bit of a tiff last episode when I turned some lady's boyfriend into a slug-off demon and it was destroying the city.
That would have been nice if she said all that. But Willow cuts her off before she says anything. And I was like, what the fuck, Willow?
Yeah.
And before that, Willow goes, I feel really responsible. And Anya mocks her for that. Because that's her apology. I feel really responsible. What? That is not contrition.
I do like that Anya's like, oh, do you?
Yeah, I feel really responsible. Like, what is that? And then Anya's telling a story about why the Scoobies aren't hanging out with her. And Willow cuts her off. Now, I know that she doesn't like Anya. But I did
like that she cut her off. And she's like, yeah, that's great. Where is everybody?
I hated that she cut her off. I was like...
I hated it in terms of like for the story, but it's a hilarious just dismissal.
And it's just like, Anya, you should just slap her or get up and walk away. Like you owe nothing. You owe nothing to Willow at this point.
Yeah.
Like, and Willow's not doing anything to get you in her graces.
So Willow asks her like, so have you seen the Scoobies? Do you know where they are? I haven't seen them. I can't find them. And Anya's like, they're probably avoiding you, dude, to be honest with you. And Willow's like, oh, well, what are they up to? And Anya's like, well, Buffy got this new job at the high school. A new high school opened up. Spike's living in the basement there. And Xander's doing construction on the high school. He likes to get there early, so he's probably there right now. And Willow's like, cool, thanks. See ya, bye.
Yeah. Well, we learned that vengeance demons travel.
Yeah. We were asking about that.
That opened up more.
Halfrek.
That opened up more questions for me. Are they assigned to people?
I guess so.
Like, why would you have to send her to Brazil?
Yeah, it seemed like she's been doing a lot of client work in Sunnydale.
Yeah, it looks like she gets her own clients, but it's like, hey, there's someone that broke up with someone in Brazil. There's nothing in between Sunnydale and Brazil. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a little wild.
Yeah.
It was a little wild. But why would... Yeah, I guess she had the magic box. But why is Halfrek in Sunnydale?
I think maybe she was just visiting. Because she can teleport. They can all teleport. So she must have just come in to say what's up to Anya.
Yeah. Anyway. So Willow decides to go to the school. She goes to the construction site and she's looking for Xander. She's like, Xander, you in there? Xander? And she just walks into an active construction site and in her high heels, and she climbs down a ladder and she's like, where is everybody? I don't see anybody. And then she looks down and she sees a flayed body. And she's like, oh my fucking God. Oh my God. And this is a cool little camera transition that I like here. We go from Willow, then we go to the flayed body. And then when we come back up, it's Buffy and Xander looking at the flayed body. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is dope.
Yeah, very simple move, but it works. And that body was way bigger than the kid that got attacked.
Oh,
it was so much bigger. I was like, I know this is supposed to be the same person, but that is not.
Well, I thought it was Willow just having a vision at first, like a thing haunting her or some shit. But no, it was actually there. And so Xander is telling Buffy, like, yeah, I found this fucking body here this morning, is crazy. And Willow, we go back to Willow's reality, and Willow's like, oh my God, fuck this. And she starts climbing up the ladder. Xander turns because he hears the ladder like clanging. He's like, man, don't worry about that. He talks to Buffy and he's like, yeah, I think maybe Willow might have done this. Or
no, he doesn't.
This might be
that.
Willow.
She thinks it might be Willow. He doesn't fully. Throughout this episode, he's less willing to say
he's less suspicious than Buffy.
Yeah, he doesn't think that Willow did it at this moment.
All right.
Yeah, because they bring it up at the end of the episode.
They do bring it up, and that's what, because I thought at this moment he does kind of suspect Willow, because he's like, Willow might be back because of this. And when at the end of the episode, Buffy says something, and I was like, is that true?
Okay, because I don't remember exactly what he said in this scene, so I'm taking it from the last scene, but you might be right. I do remember in this scene, he says, I gave my team the day off, and then and I called you immediately. And then Buffy goes, I got to get a job where I don't get called for this.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And then later, I kind of wondered if they ever called this body in to the authorities. Like, did this body ever get reported?
Yeah, this kid's just missing. His family has no idea what's going on with it.
They just buried it in the hole that they bury all the other demons they kill. I don't know.
And Sunnydale, baby.
This episode is brought to you by Etsy.
Oh.
Hear that?
Okay. Thank you.
Etsy knows these aren't the sounds of holiday gifting. Well, not the ones you're hoping for. You want squeals of delight. Happy tears.
How did you?
And spontaneously written songs of joy.
I am so happy. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, the song needs a bit of work, but anyway, to get those reactions, make sure everyone on your list feels heard with handmade, handpicked, and designed gifts from small shops on Etsy. Gifts like personalized jewelry, custom artwork, cozy style items, vintage pieces, and home decor to celebrate all of your favorite people and their specific kind of special. For original gifts that say, I get you, Etsy has it.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
So Willow takes this opportunity to take a tour of the new school, and she's walking around and she's looking, and all the kids are rushing by her. And I was like, can you just walk into any school and wander the halls?
Kind of. Not really, but yeah.
I don't know.
If you're confident enough, you can do anything.
That is true. That is true. Let's try it, Vance.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that.
So anyway, so Willow's walking around the school, and then she goes down into the basement, and she finds Spike, who's all crazy still. And Spike's talking to Willow, and he's like, "You've been away, but you're back now." And Willow tells Spike about the body that she finds, and she's like, there was a body and I found it. It was skinned. Like, what could possibly do something like that? And Spike's like, you serious? You did it. But she's like, I'm trying to find the Scoobs, and do you know where they are? And Spike's like, I'm going to go back to Crazy Town. He walks up to a wall and he starts talking, and he's like, oh, don't you look glorious? Oh. And then he backs away and he's like, everybody's talking to me, but not everyone is here. And they're not talking to each other. He says something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, this is just Spike going crazy. He's got voices in his head again. But no, what is actually happening is Buffy and Xander go down to Spike's place at the same time. They take a different entrance to the basement. And they can hear him talking to Willow. Mm-hmm. But they don't know that Willow's there and they can't hear Willow. So they walk up and they're like, man, this isn't going to be Xander is like, this isn't going to be worth it. He's going crazy down here anyway. So they're talking to him. Spike's talking to them. And Spike realizes that he's like a tie between the different realities. Like he can see Willow and Buffy and Xander. And Buffy and Xander ask Spike about the body. And Spike tells Willow that Buffy and Xander suspect that, you know, it was her.
Yeah, he says the witch is here.
Yeah.
Which makes them suspicious, but he's actually saying it because she's literally standing right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's doing his like kind of weird rambly type of stuff. And Xander's getting annoyed. He's like, why are we even talking to this fucking guy? This guy's worthless. And Buffy's like, I think he might be onto something, but maybe there's some kind of clues in there. But ultimately they all walk away. Spike doesn't tell anybody anything. He eventually is like, I'm leaving.
He says,
and so
there are things here without permission. I have to check their slips. And that keeps coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Weird little high school type thing.
This is the scene I thought was really cool. This is the scene.
Same.
Yeah. I
love this.
When I saw the first part and he was saying stuff, I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely talking to both of them. And this is kind of cool. And then I was thinking, because I've mentioned that the mumbling, crazy character stuff is just personally not my favorite. But this is a valid way for someone to be crazy because they actually are talking to two things that are happening at once.
Yes.
Now, I think that's true for this. I don't think it's true for the other times he's been talking to himself.
Yes.
So
this was a good misdirect, though.
Yeah.
Because when Willow first goes down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And like, I love those seeing, you know, in like Interstellar, when Matthew McConaughey is like going back in time and pushing the books and helping his daughter figure stuff out. And she just thinks it's like randomness of the universe, but it's actually him in a different dimension or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that they set up his craziness for this payoff. So
yeah.
Good.
So Willow goes to Anya for help. And she's like, Anya, I found a fucking flayed body. And Anya's like, oh, that sounds like something you would do.
Well, she says, I found a dead body near the school. And Anya says, that can happen.
Yeah. But she's suspicious of Willow. And Willow's like, look, I get it. But will you help me? Because I'm telling you it's not me. And Anya's like, all right, fine. And so they sit cross-legged on the floor. And they start doing a spell with all their candles. And Anya goes, this isn't going to get all sexy, is it?
Anya's great in this scene.
Yeah, and Willow goes, I'd be shocked. So they do that demon location spell that Willow did before. Mm-hmm. And Tara like thwarted it because Tara thought that she would show up on the map thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
So they do the demon location spell and they find that there's a huge clump of demons at the high school.
That's a hellmouth. It's always going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like the top building. You guys should have tried to stop that.
Yeah. So Anya's looking at it. It's like, oh, look, there's me. That's where I am. There's little lights all over the place. And then eventually the map catches fire and it burns Anya's rug. And Anya gets all pissed about it because she warned not to do that. And she's like, oh, this isn't going to mess up my rug, is it? And Willow assured her it's not. But
just Willow's just already just messing stuff up.
Yeah.
That map looks different. That map looks different than the map that we have, too, that we've posted.
Yeah.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
It's bigger.
It is bigger.
Sunnydale's massive.
But Willow kind of has an idea of where this demon might be. And she's like, hey, could you teleport there to Anya? And Anya's like, no, I can't. And they're like, what? Why? Don't vengeance demons teleport? And Anya goes, well, found out that's more of a privilege than a right because As a punishment for not being a good vengeance demon, the Hoffren has taken away my ability to teleport, and I can only do it for business purposes, and I have to do like a write-up for it and have to get flight plans approved and shit. And I was like, this is...
Yeah, Willow, you would have known this if you didn't cut me off when I was telling you what happened.
I mean, we were asking about, like, is there punishments for being a bad vengeance demon? This is a follow-up?
I thought she was going to have a bigger punishment for reversing a curse.
Yeah.
She lost all of her powers when she had her amulet crap.
Why don't they just do that to her again?
I don't think they're trying to stop her.
But why not?
I don't know.
They don't like that she's doing vengeance.
If you're a Scooby and you sleep with someone, you are not allowed to stop that person as a demon.
All right.
Like Buffy, we've been saying Buffy should stab Spike for seasons now, and she just can't. So that
was even before they started sleeping with each other.
Even Riley was like, "Hey, Buffy, do you want me to kill him? I have orders too, but because you are sleeping with him, I won't." So
it's bananas, dude.
So Anya gets the same privilege.
All right, fair enough. So then they get to talking about like, oh man, well, why weren't you being a good vengeance demon, basically? And she's like, honestly, I used to have a lot of fun being a vengeance demon, and now I'm just finding it to be deeply upsetting, and I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. And Willow's like, yeah, I can relate. And then they're like, all right, well, let's go off. You go off and find your demon. And as Willow's leaving, Anya says something like, hey, that did get a little sexy, didn't it?
Just the perfect button on that scene. Just perfect.
And she asks if they want to do a spell to find the Scoobs. And Willow's like, well, I already tried that and it didn't work. And Anya's like, what do you mean it didn't work? She's like, well, the spell said that they didn't exist. And I was like, ooh, the plot thickens.
I had no feeling when she said that. I was like, all right. I thought they should have had a bigger reaction. She says it as she's like walking away. She's like, they don't exist. All right.
Yeah.
It's like, I think her and Anya should have had a bigger moment there.
Yeah.
It felt like it was for the audience, but I was like, it's not going to hit me that hard. It should hit her real hard. Like she should have been freaking out.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made sense for Anya because Anya has memories of the Scoob. So it's if Willow's like, they don't exist.
Willow has memories of them too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if the most powerful witch tells you they don't exist anymore and you don't know if she's a threat, that's weird. And then Willow, if you find out that they don't exist anymore, you have to be like panicking that they're actually dead or something. Instead, she's like, they don't exist. All right. Do.
I did that spell and it turns out they don't exist. Yeah. Puts on sunglasses.
Stay tuned for the rest of Willow Witch and the Watchers.
Willow, Miami. So then we go over to the Summers house, and Dawn, Xander, and Buffy are researching demons who skin their victims. And they're like, well, there's a plethora of demons that do this. Like, there's a long list of demons that skin their victims. And Buffy just slams her hands on the table and gets up and walks away all frustrated. She's like, I gotta do something. And Xander follows her. And he's like, hey, what's up, Buffy? And she's having this conversation like 5 feet away from where Dawn is. Like, she didn't walk very far. But it's like one of those classic TV things of like, I don't want Dawn to hear this.
Yeah.
But then Buffy's like, dude, why are we fucking looking up demons? We know who fucking did this. It was Willow. This is her MO. She skins people. She did it once. She's going to just keep doing it. Classic Willow. Why are we even asking?
Yeah.
And then as they're having this conversation, Dawn is like, hey, guys, I found something. And they're like, what? What'd you find? And she's like, well, there's this demon called Gnarl who skins people and eats their skin. And Xander's like, oh, good find, Dawn. You're taking Willow's place now that she doesn't exist, apparently. You're our research person.
Dawn's good at research. She's got our little MacBook. I was like, all right, this is Dawn's fitting in a role.
She's the man in the van.
This is what I thought she would do last season. I thought she would start fighting and being a Scoob. Yeah,
I guess not. But yeah, she's like, isn't this great? And Xander's like, you're scaring me actually a little bit that you're so excited and jazzed about this. But okay, we have a lead. Xander's like, let's go to Willie's bar. And
I was excited.
Buffy goes,
I was so excited. Yeah. I was like,
yes. Me too. We haven't seen Willie in so long.
I was like, yes, let's do it.
Dude, they got rid of all of their like rat characters. Like Willie, Whistler. We haven't seen Whistler in forever. But yeah, so Xander's like, yeah, let's go to Willie's and like ask some questions. And Buffy goes, or we could be smart. And I was like, damn, all right. And then she even is like, sorry, Xander.
They really pile on Xander being dumb all of a sudden this episode.
Yeah. I didn't get it. I mean, I feel like going to Willie's is like, that's not that bad of an idea.
Yeah. Well, Buffy is thinking that it's Willow. And then she finds out that it could be this monster Gnarl. And then she realizes, if he skins them, there's going to be blood. And she's like, not a lot, because Gnarl like drinks the blood. You know, it's like his liquid or something. And then she's like, we have someone who can track blood, even if it's traces. And it's like, oh, you mean the crazy guy? And Xander doesn't get what she's talking about. Like, he's like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
And they just do it to make Xander seem dumb. But also, I'd rather him be smart and be like, we're going to trust the guy that's mumbling to himself. I feel like it was a waste to have this dumbness thing because it's set up for the next scene.
Yeah. Yeah, the next scene, we cut right from Xander be like, duh, to Spike wandering around the woods with Xander and Buffy and Dawn. And
why? I should have wrote this up the first time we saw Spike, but why is he back in the blue shirt?
He's got to wear something.
Yeah, I know, but why the blue shirt? He said the blue shirt wasn't working last episode.
Yeah, I don't know. But they're wandering through the woods, and Dawn is like excited about like being a part of the crew now. And she's like, I got big plans. I can do all kinds of cool stuff. And they're like, all right, cool. And then so Spike, they eventually come to a halt, and Spike is like, there you go. That's where your demon is. And Xander looks up at it. He's like, it's a rock cliff, dummy. And then Spike's like, hey, dummy. He moves some bushes. He's like, there's a cave right there. All right. So go in there. It's in the cave, dipshit. Xander's like, oh.
Yeah, he says, I know I'm like insane, but what's his excuse? Or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, so Spike is self-aware and Xander is really dumb again? Everyone's ripping on him again? They really took him down from the beginning where he's like, I saved the world with my mouth. And he saved Buffy last episode with the talisman. So, yeah, it just was weird to make him... They made him dumb in a not fun, dumb way. It felt forced.
Yeah.
Because he is still an idiot. But, like, maybe he forgot about the initiative days and the massive cave system of Sunnydale.
Which apparently the high school is a part of now.
Oh, my God. Well, yeah, it has to be because, you could just... No, that was the college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after they see the cave, Buffy, Dawn, and Xander and Spike, we go to Willow, who is standing at the front of the cave. And she crawls inside and she hears footsteps and there's a shadowy figure and she sees Gnarl like crawling away and she's like, oh. Then the Scoobs climb in and they can hear something too. And it's all very, very creepy. And then Gnarl is taunting Willow and the Scoobs can hear him taunting Willow. But then out of nowhere, Gnarl just attacks Dawn. And it turns out he's got poison in his fingers that causes paralysis. And so Dawn is now paralyzed. And Willow can hear. She's like, oh, what's going on here? And so Buffy and Xander take Dawn outside and they barricade what they think is just Gnarl into the cave. But Willow sees that she's being barricaded in too. And she's like, wait, who's doing this? Oh no, I'm in here. Stop. And then Gnarl sees this happening and he starts laughing like a crazy person. He's like, there's no way out now. And then Willow starts praying to a goddess for protection.
I just want to talk about some of the scene before.
Okay. All right.
Nitpick stuff. No way they can close this cave system. I get it for trapping Willow in there, but they went outside and found rocks to close it up instantly.
Well, it also looked like it was like 30 rocks.
Yeah.
How did Willow not see this happening previously?
Well, I mean, she was in there and then it just started. I don't know. I mean, it's no way they get out there and they find a bunch of rocks and like trap it in there that way. Mm-hmm. Also, it's a cave system. I'm sure there's another entrance and exit.
Yeah.
I do love Gnarl's voice. He's got leprechaun vibes.
I like Gnarl as a villain.
Yeah, Gnarl's already a front runner.
Yeah.
Just like we haven't seen him yet, but the look is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just funny. And Dawn's back to being a damsel in distress. She was having a great episode.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really fault her. Yeah,
I get that they needed to show what could happen. They needed someone to be an example of that. But it doesn't help her case of, hey, Buffy, I should go with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they immediately they just walk away once she gets sliced.
Yeah. They drag her out and they're like, oh, well, she's paralyzed. We got to get her out of here.
Yeah. Yep.
So Willow starts praying to a goddess for protection. Gnarl starts laughing because he loves spells. And he's like, oh, you think that's going to protect you? That's hilarious. And Willow's like, oh, shit, this guy's immune to magic.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
And then Gnarl
If I was a Scoobies, I would be going to Anya and being like, can I get an amulet that makes me immune to magic? And I'm going to wear it everywhere I go. There has to be something you could put on.
Yeah. There's so many solutions to their problems that they just like don't take advantage of.
Because then the show wouldn't be good. But yeah, because we're talking about it, we have to talk about some of the stuff that we would do.
I mean, here's a solution to a problem. Lock your fucking doors. That's at least to a couple problems.
I don't know.
I can't believe she didn't lock her door.
Yeah, I think if that demon wanted to get in, it'd get in.
Yeah, but you can at least make it a little harder.
I think you got to be more worried about the vagrants in Sunnydale breaking in and robbing stuff and assaulting people.
Yeah.
That could be just the regular people. Yeah.
So then Gnarl starts taunting Willow about how like, oh, your friends left you here for me to have. And Willow's like, what are you talking about? Friends left? What? Huh?
Not this emotional abuse.
Yeah. And so we go see the Scoobs like dragging Dawn out of the cave, and Dawn's paralyzed, and she's like, oh no, I'm paralyzed. And then
at least they give her props for her good research. She did figure out who the demon was and that it had paralyzing claw ability.
But why wouldn't she tell them about that before they go into the place?
She did tell them that.
Okay, so then why would... I thought that she told him like right as she got sliced.
Oh, did she say when she got sliced?
Yeah.
I think she might have said it earlier too, because she talks about it paralyzing its victim and eating the skin. I think she said it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. I think that she probably
she said all of it.
She did talk about its long finger.
Yeah. So when she's being dragged away, they're like, "Hey, your research was accurate. Like you found it all out." So she gets props as she's being dragged out of the forest.
So we go back into the cave, and Gnarl is like taunting her, and he eventually attacks Willow with his paralyzing fingernails. Mm-hmm. And he drags her around, and he stands on top of her, and he's going to eat her.
This is the first time we see him.
Yeah, he looks fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah.
And he's like talking creepy as shit. And he opens up where he cut her. And he's like, ooh, now it's time for a feast. And he just head rears down on her stomach and just starts eating her, it looked like.
Well, he's licking the blood, but it looks like he's eating or going to bite her or something, yeah.
It made noises like it sounded like he was like eating her guts.
Yeah, but we know he skins, from what she said, he skins them and eats the skin.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he doesn't, and drinks the blood and eats the skin.
So then we have the Scoobs at Buffy's house, and they lay Dawn down, and they're like, oh, we got to find an antidote. We got to find an antidote to this paralysis. And then Buffy's looking at the book, and she does the classic fucking, oh, it says that the paralysis is permanent. And Dawn's like, what the fuck? And then she goes, oh, until Gnarl dies. Hey,
it's also one of
reading.
It's also one of those things. Hey, Dawn, you were reading this. Did you also stop? you should know what the antidote is.
Yeah, but they had Dawn. Like face down too. And they're like, fucking turn her over at least. And so they turn her over, and now she's face up. And they're like, well, what if she vomits? We got to go back and kill Gnarl, but somebody's got to stay with Dawn just to make sure that she doesn't vomit and die.
Dawn's like, why would I vomit? Like, they're treating it like she's drunk and she's gonna like throw up and choke on her vomit. And I'm like, oh, if that's the case, just lean her to the side, put her on her side.
Yeah, that's easy.
At least. Yeah, but whatever.
So we go back to the cave, and Gnarl's on top of Willow, and he's saying that there's no one here to help her, and he starts skinning her, and he's eating the skin, and it is gnarly.
This is horrifying. This is at Hush Gentleman level.
Yeah.
A paralyzed person being skinned alive and taunted, and seeing him eat this like gummy skin stuff. It's like way too weird looking. But yeah. So
and they're like creepy. Awake and conscious.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a part of Dawn's research, she talks about how like he does this and you're awake and it takes hours.
Yeah.
So it's like
the only good thing is that you're paralyzed, at least.
Yeah, I guess they don't feel it.
Hopefully. Hopefully. That's the only hope. That's the only solace I can hope for in this situation. But it is not something you want to look at.
Well, I don't know. As we learn in the next scene, there are different types of paralysis with demonology and shit like that. So, they call up the Scoobs call up Anya to sit with Dawn.
Oh, I had a question before this. Where did Spike go?
He just went back to his high school, I guess.
Like once he pointed out the cave, he just dipped.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Yeah, I just noticed he it's just missing at one point in the cave, and I was like, oh, is he outside the cave when they come out with Dawn? It's like, no. Yeah,
I think that was all they needed him for, and they just sent him on his way.
Yeah. Kicked him in the butt and was like, get back. Treated him like Giles treated Willow. Get up out of here.
Go on get Spike. Start spraying him with a spray bottle. So yeah, now they got Anya to babysit Dawn, and they're like, yeah, she's paralyzed. And Anya's like, well, what kind of paralyzed? And they're like, what do you mean? She's like, there's different types of paralysis. Like, look, check this out. And she like pulls up Dawn's legs, and they're like, oh, she's posable? And Anya's like, yeah.
She's a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
And so they sit her up, and they make her like sit with her legs straight out, and it's so weird. And Anya's like, you know what? I'm doing a lot of good today. I've helped a lot. First I helped with Willow, and now I'm helping with you. And Xander and Buffy are like, oh yeah, that's really good stuff. Wait, what?
What?
You helped with Willow? You saw Willow? And Anya's like, yeah, she was here. She went to that cave. And they're like, we were just at the cave. They're like, huh, that's interesting.
Classic Anya.
Yeah. And then Buffy's like, so you know a lot about like this type of paralysis and this gnarl thing, right? And he's like, yeah, I mean, I guess so. He's a demon. I'm a demon. And so Buffy's like, you're coming with us. Pose Dawn in a way that she won't die. And so they just like put a remote control in her hand for some reason.
It's such a gag. Buffy puts the TV remote in her hand as if she could use it.
Yeah, I was like, what? Why would you do this to her?
Yeah.
It'd be funny if her legs sticking straight out, I think. Though.
No, she's bent. She's sitting down.
They bent them?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be funny if she turned the TV on and then just did it, but she didn't even turn the TV on. She just...
Yeah.
Yeah, just a gag.
So then we go back to the cave and Willow's still getting eaten by Gnarl. I mean, they draw that out.
They said to take hours.
Yeah. So Buffy, Anya, and Xander run to the cave and they hop in there and Buffy starts attacking Gnarl. And they're like, well, where's Willow? And Anya's like, she's right there. And they're like, we don't see her. Right where? And Anya's like, you don't see her? She's right here. And then Xander's hand goes through Willow, apparently, according to Anya. And they're like, we don't have the budget to show that. Just fucking believe me, your hand is going through her.
It's the easiest thing for them to do, too. They've done that before. We've definitely seen people like wave their hand through like a ghostly figure.
Yeah. But I think, didn't we have somebody like run through somebody before?
Yeah.
But Buffy's like, something's up here, and it's not this Gnarl guy. Like, Gnarl is a problem, but something else is going on here. And so...
That is the theme of this beginning of the season. It's something weird is happening, but it's not the thing that we're fighting this episode.
Mm-hmm. Something else is going on. So Buffy starts fighting Gnarl, and Xander and Anya are literally... I wrote in my notes, they're just standing there.
Yeah. Yep.
And Anya explains to Willow that the Scoobs are there and they can't see her, but they're fighting Gnarl. And Gnarl is like a very agile, fleet of foot monster.
I didn't understand how he was able to sneak up and slash Dawn and Willow. Like he's talking to him, and then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere. And he's tall too. He's like, I don't know, it's a big monster. It's not like a little demon, you know?
Yeah. But while Buffy's fighting him, he like jumps over Buffy and lands behind her. And Buffy just gets sick of him like avoiding all of her attacks. So she takes a dagger and just stabs Gnarl's foot into the ground to stop him from moving. And then she thumb pokes his eyes because Anya's like, his heart or whatever, you got to go for the eyes.
Yeah.
And then so she double thumbs his eyes.
She gouges his eyes out.
Yeah, it's fucking gnarly.
He just missed slicing her too. Like he slices her shirt in the same way and she's like, ooh, close one. And it reminded me of the trio buzzsaws when they cut her jacket but missed her. She has an ability to get her fabric cut, but somehow it doesn't break skin. Like it's
got Slayer sense, man.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, like you said, they're just standing back watching this. What were they going to do if Buffy got hit?
Probably die.
Yeah, and
just gonna die.
And they really
maybe Gnarl doesn't kill demons.
Well, so he would have killed Anya. I mean, he would have killed would have killed Xander for sure. And I don't know what he would have done with Anya, but he could have. She can't teleport.
So yeah, after Buffy like kills Gnarl by sticking her thumbs in his eyes, Anya is like talking to Willow, and she's like, "Oh, Willow, don't worry, Buffy killed the monster. It's all good. We're all gonna be just fine." And Dawn, we have a quick cut to Dawn at home, and Dawn just like falls over.
This is great. Yeah,
nice little quick cut.
This is a good Dawn episode, everybody. I will say this: we give Dawn a lot of flack, but I think we're fair.
Yeah,
like we will not just stick to, we didn't like Dawn one time, so she can never do good.
I'm a notorious Dawn hater, and recently she's been pretty decent.
Great moments in this episode. A lot of good moments.
pretty decent. So Anya's like, oh, we're going to get help for you, Willow. We're going to figure this whole thing out. And Buffy and Xander are standing around where Willow is. And they're like, where is she? We don't see her. And Anya's like, she's in this general area. And they're like, okay, cool. And then after Gnarl's little paralysis stuff starts to wear off on Willow, Willow starts to reappear. And now everybody can see her, and they're all happy that Willow's back, and they all can see each other again. And they're like, whew, this is great. This is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And no one applies pressure to the wound. They all freak out a little bit about it, but that's it.
Why would you do regular medicine when you can do what Willow's about to do?
Well, Anya also leaves and goes, I'm going to go get help. Who?
Yeah.
What? An ambulance is going to drive up to this cave system?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So anyway, we go back to the Summers home, and Willow is meditating, and Buffy comes in. She's like, oh, shit, you're meditating. Don't want to interrupt. And Willow's like, no, don't worry about it. I should probably stop meditating. I've been doing it a lot. And Buffy's like, oh, is that really helping you? And Willow's like, well, I'm just doing a lot of meditation to help grow new skin for myself.
Now, I love that this led to a Clem reference, as Buffy says Clem should cut back on meditating. And I was like, wow. So Clem is still in the rotation.
I hope we see him again.
I guess we're going to have to, because they're referencing him here. They must have hung out with him this summer.
He rules, dude.
It's just nice to have a nice character that seems genuinely like a nice person besides eating kittens.
Which we've also decided is not that bad.
You have decided.
The Boys Watching Buffy.
No, don't put me in this.
I did like when he was hanging out with Dawn and he had like a plethora of different Doritos and snacks.
Hey, trying to be a good host.
These are great. Dude, Clem rules.
I would love and hate to know more about what he is as a demon.
Yeah.
I feel like right now we have just enough information that I can like him. But if they try to do a full Clem episode, I worry about what would happen.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But, so then Willow talks about how Giles taught her that everything's part of the earth, man. We're all connected, man. Like, I'm connected to the ground, and like the ground's connected to the Hellmouth, but it's also connected to you, and we're connected, man.
That's why Giles said I could just go back to Sunnydale. Like, we're connected. So he's like, get the fuck out of here. And we'll still be cool and connected, you know?
Yeah. I love that Buffy's like, yeah, part of the ground. You're on the second floor.
Oh, if Xander said that, he'd be considered dumb and stupid.
Yeah. But, then Buffy's like, all right, well, I'll leave you be. I'll let you meditate. And Willow's like, no, please stay. I missed you. I missed you a lot. And Buffy's like, yeah, we missed you too. And like, we thought we lost you. Like, we couldn't really, what was up with that whole, we couldn't see you and everything. I got to get back to researching what could have possibly been doing that. And Willow goes, that was me. And Buffy's like, what? She's like, yeah, I may have accidentally did a spell that made me invisible to all of you guys because I wasn't ready to see you yet because I was worried that you weren't going to forgive me. And I don't know if I have forgiven myself. And Buffy's like, so you just did that by thinking it? And Willow's like, yeah, pretty much.
And my note is, this is too soon for Willow to be joking about her uncontrollable power.
Right?
You accident-
She did it by accident.
Shoot her, Buffy.
Yeah, dude.
That's so scary. That's so scary.
That's insane. And then the next thing she's like, but it's nice to be forgiven. I was like,
I know. I know. It's just, what? Buffy, why do you not react when Willow just says some weird stuff and Buffy just no-sells it. That is
Get her
problem.
a one-way ticket back to England.
Get on the phone with Giles and be like, she ain't ready.
Yeah, dude. Like,
what?
I would be pissed at Giles. I would have called him up like, motherfucker, she's doing spells by accident that put all of us in danger.
Should have just let Gnarl eat her at that point.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like, when she said that she accidentally did it, I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Back to England you go.
You can't. Willow, you have to lie at that point. You have to lie and be like, I killed the thing. Or just blame Gnarl for it somehow. Just do not say that you did it by accident. That is not how you gain trust with this group. But apparently Buffy's fine. Sure.
Yeah, but Buffy is just like, you did it by accident just by thinking it? And Willow's like, yeah. And Buffy's like, All right,
yeah. I guess you're living in my room now, too.
Right? That was weird.
Did Buffy move into Joyce's room?
That's what was confusing for me at that earlier scene.
Because the pictures were in Joyce's room, right?
Yeah. Because Willow's in like Joyce's room, but Buffy's pictures are there. And so I was like, what's going on here? But so Willow says like, well, it's nice to be forgiven. And Buffy's like, yeah, but I got a little confession for you. When I found that body that was skinned, I'll be real, like my first instinct was to think that it was you. And Will's like, I get that.
Yeah. Doesn't she say like, I wasn't even sure it wasn't me?
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, Will's like, I thought it might be me too. And I was like, back to England.
Yes. You're just going on the road. You're just like a vagabond that just walks the streets and just goes from town to town solving mysteries or whatever. Like, Willow, you're out of here. Like, I'm sorry, I can't have you in the house.
Yeah, dude. Like, I get that you care, but like, you're not ready. And even Willow, like after that, she's like, I'm not even sure I can recover from this all this magic stuff. And it's like, go somewhere else then.
You know what?
I wrote in my notes in all caps, very reassuring, Willow.
Yeah. You know what, Willow? Live with Xander. Xander's the only one that can talk you down. So live with Xander.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You know, maybe you guys strike up well, no, you're fully a lesbian now. So no, so you get no hookup possibilities, just good friendship, and he's not hooking up with people. You guys are roommates now, and you live with Xander. He's doing well. You can
live with Xander, have some yellow crayons all around in case you need to be talked down.
Yeah, you can be his assistant or handle some scheduling or something. You'll figure out something. Like, I don't know. Just you get out of this house. Like, you don't live here.
I mean, it's so out of character for Buffy, who's worried about Dawn, Dawn was at risk with Willow. Buffy's like, I'll kill anyone if they touch a hair on my sister. And then this girl who's like, I accidentally did a spell that made me invisible to all of you just by thinking it by accident. And she's like, you can stay here.
And then what she ends up doing later is crazy.
So Willow is like, all right, well, I'm going to get back to meditating because I probably should do that.
I got a lot of skin to grow back. It's bikini season.
Yeah. And Buffy's like, oh, I thought you just said that you were too tired to do it. And Willow's like, yeah, I'm just going to do it anyway. And then so she's like, okay, cool. And she sits cross-legged and she starts doing her little meditation pose. And Buffy's like, how about I sit with you? And Willow's like, really? She's like, yeah, you said that you're not powerful or strong enough to do it. And I've got a lot of strength that I'm just giving away. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to meditate with you. And they hold hands and they start meditating. And that is the episode.
Yeah. And I was thinking, Willow could accidentally suck all of Buffy's Slayer powers away by accident.
You don't know what she's capable of by accident.
Don't hold her hands.
God damn, dude. Like, be smart.
The show does not want us to really punish Willow. And she's been needing to be yelled at since the last season. And she just hasn't happened. It just hasn't happened at all. And I just don't get why the show kid gloves her for so long. Just I hate it. Her reactions to stuff is like, sorry, I guess I really messed up here. I don't know. Like, I want to like Willow, but it's the same way. I think with Willow and Spike, it's the how do you forgive them for what they did? Mm-hmm. And it's hard to forgive Spike for what he did. Mm-hmm. And then you can try to throw the soul thing in and some redemption arc and you make him feel bad. But at least he's like going through the motions of it. Yeah. Willow is like, always feels like she's, I know, but come on, guys.
I mean, Willow didn't do the work. Yes. She went to England to be recovered. I guess, you know what? She wanted to do the work, at least. She wanted to stay. She's like, I don't think I'm ready. And Giles kicked her to the curb.
Yeah, but that's just weird.
Yeah, that is so bizarre that Giles, I mean, I get that it's like, oh, you may not be ready, but you're needed or some shit.
Well, you can do it another way where she's there and she has completed it, but she still doesn't feel like she's ready. And Giles is like, you've been done with it for 2 months. You're ready.
Yeah.
And he has to send her back. Like, that's a way where now you know that she's terrified of it. Because we get it when she's talking to Anya. She says, oh, you're worried that the thing will take over you and you won't feel the guilt anymore. And they kind of relate there. Mm-hmm. But it's not, there's no apology to the Scoobs and to Buffy, who you should be really contrite with.
Well, that's just going back to typical Buffy tropes of no one apologizing for anything.
But I mean, like, you brought Buffy back to life, which she didn't want. And then when you became evil Willow Witch, you brought that back up. Mm-hmm. And then tried to kill her again.
Yeah. And now, you, like, threw it in her face, like, and then you tried
we'll just never understand female relationships.
Yeah, that's true. We are boys watching Buffy, not girls watching Buffy.
I'm trying to think, does Xander have are there any male relationships like this that have there's like no male relationships that have had drama that have resolved themselves in this show.
Yeah, because Xander still doesn't like Spike. He's never liked Spike.
Giles still doesn't like Xander.
Yeah.
They're like cordial, but they don't like each other.
I mean, Xander and Riley, they had some beef, but they got over that.
Yeah.
And now Xander likes Riley.
They didn't really have that much beef, though. What was their beef?
Yeah, it was like low flame beef.
What was that? Like, what was their beef about?
I mean, it was just like, I don't trust this guy. Who is he? And all that kind of shit. But then, like...
Oh, once he was an initiative person?
Yeah. But then they got over it, and Riley trusted Xander with, like, she doesn't love me. And then Xander was like, oh, man, you're my boy now.
Yeah, but, like, they never had a real feud about anything real that was, like, just the two of them. Because he was still cool with him when he was dating Buffy pre-initiative. Yeah. There's just not... Yeah, Spike, Angel...
Because he and Oz never really had...
No, they got it. Well, they did get over the cheating fiasco pretty quickly.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's about the closest. That's about the closest we've had. Yeah.
Where does he stand with Angel?
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah.
No one likes Angel besides Buffy.
Yeah. Well, I think Willow likes Angel. If I'm being real, like, she goes to Willow or she goes to Angel after Buffy comes back to life.
Which I didn't know that they were still on talking terms.
I guess they all have to in case of emergency.
Sure.
But yeah, that's that wraps up. Same time, same place. You got anything else to say about it?
Not really, actually. This is a pretty breezy one.
Pretty straightforward. I really liked Gnarl.
Gnarl is great.
Thought Gnarl was a cool Demon of the Week.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. Good look.
Yeah.
Scary. Effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, next episode is titled Help. A Buffy reenactment of the Beatles movie.
Help. I think this is going to deal with Buffy having to help a student in school.
Good. I think I'll go along with that. That's a good prediction. I think this is going to be more Willow needing help too, where she's like, I still don't feel in control of my magical powers.
Yeah, I think
that could be like a season-long thing. Probably.
I think we're over that. I think she'll be fine next week.
I think I'll say it. Dawn's going to be a damsel in distress here.
So you think she okay? That'd be nice if they reverse that, and then she doesn't need help. That'd be kind of cool. I just wanted to say, I think Gnarl feels like a character out of Grimm's fairy tales. That's what I liked about him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He kind of had the look of like a less tech version of the Green Goblin from Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire one.
Yeah.
Like the head is kind of a similar shape, and he's greenish,
longer nose. But those, yeah. I did like the introduction of the claws coming on the screen and clicking,
clicking like a tongs.
Yeah. It had a very like the musical episode, the way it's like shot, like it looked like it was going to be like a song and dance and stuff.
Yeah. Gnarl ruled. Big fan of Gnarl.
Very scary. Very great power. Yeah. Immune to magic.
Yeah. Immune to magic, paralyzes people. Yeah. Wait, like that just alone would be good.
Is there only one Gnarl in the world? Has this one demon been around, or is like Gnarl like a bunch of different types? Because they always kill off these demons in books, and I'm like, should you tell somebody that this one doesn't exist anymore so we can rule it out next time someone does research?
Well, they do talk about Gnarl, and they say like, "Oh, a Gnarl has taken her," and Anya's like, "No, it's just Gnarl."
Yeah, she just like
so
that. Like
it's
his
just
name.
The only one.
Yeah,
it's not like a race of demons or something, or maybe it is. I have no fucking idea.
Who knows? We got to ask Dawn. She's the research expert now.
Yeah, there's just like a whole dimension of Gnarls.
I mean, the gentleman. I think that's it. There's no more gentlemen in the world after Hush.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. All right. Well.
All right.
All right. Well, that is a wrap, everybody, for our episode on Same Time, Same Place. Thank you for listening. Thanks for subscribing. If you want to get a shout out, Apple Podcast 5-star rating and review, Spotify 5-star rating, screenshot it, send it to us, and we'll do that dang shout out. Join our Discord. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy, where we do Boys Watching Angel, Boys Watching Movies, Joe's Fashion Report /Corner. The movie for this month's Clueless, real good time, real ranty, real tangential. Lot of. That's a good one. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, we even talk about the Oscars that have just passed a little bit. Yeah, it's a lot going on in that one.
Yeah, that's a wild one.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out. We got merch. We got an Amazon wish list. All that links.
Ooh, new stuff on the Amazon wish list now too.
Yeah. What else? Instagram @Boys Watching Buffy. Email boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. And yeah, stay tuned next time for when we talk about Help.
I found a dead body near the high school.
Yes, that can happen.
Something horrible killed a boy. Took his skin right off. Was it you? No!
Seltzer Kings. Podcasts.